Hi everyone, welcome to Lilybugs Library and welcome to another Tag Tuesday. So I don't know what it's like where you're at. I'm hoping it's sunny, but here it's gray and kind of rainy. So welcome to another day in Nova Scotia. All right, but in all fairness, it was sunny yesterday. Windy, but sunny. Okay, so today I'm going to do the Bronte Novels tag from Suey's Book Banter. And so we'll get started with that. Now, all of the books that they reference, most of them I've never read. If you've watched the channel for any length of time, you know I'm not big on Jane Austen or Jane Eyre or any of those. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Luckily, I didn't need to have read the books to be able to do the tag, so it's all good. So the first one, the prompt is Agnes Grey, a book about women in the workplace. Um, it was tough to narrow it down because I think most books you read about nowadays have something to do with women in the workplace. You know, it's in there somewhere. But the one that first came to mind was Knead It to Death, which is the first in the bread shop mysteries. And in that one, Olea Diaz and her sisters run the bread shop, and they do it all together. And Ivy Culpepper is the main character who ends up learning from them how to do bread. So there is a lot about, I mean, it's a cozy mystery, so, you know, you have that part of it. But there is also a lot of things about the shop itself and how they have, developed it and had it grow. So that's the one I chose. So the next one is Jane Eyre, a coming-of-age novel centered on a female character. So I kind of feel like coming-of-age novels you can come of age at any age. It's just kind of coming into your own and figuring out your own life and growing and, you know, those sort of things. So I thought of Nice Work, Nora November, which I really enjoyed. And it was about a woman who has a near-death experience, and once she comes back from that, she realizes that the only person that she, you know, needs to really think about pleasing is herself and not her family, because, you know, she's doing a job because her father said she had to do that job. She's dressing a certain way because her mother says she has to dress that way, and she's an adult and living on her own, you know. So, and she's, you know, things happen with her sister, and she's always feels like she's disappointing her sister. So she really lives for everyone else and not for herself. So after this near-death experience, she starts to learn that she needs to break away from all that. So that was a good coming-of-age story. The next one is The Professor, a book by a favorite author that's not your favorite. So with me, it would be The Phoenix Crown by Kate Quinn and Stacey Lee, and love them both. I think they're both terrific authors. I don't like them together. I didn't care much for that particular book. It had good parts, you know, don't get me wrong, and some people I'm sure love it, but I just found a lot of it was very slow moving, and I just really couldn't get into it. So there would be that one. The next one is Shirley, a book about female friendship. So another Kate Quinn book, one of the ones I really love, is The Briar Club, and that one was about women living in a boarding house. And that was a great book about female friendship. I mean, they start out as strangers, and by the time they're done, they're friends, and some would even say family, because they have bonded together over these supper clubs that they had, and over trying to help a couple of the children that are in the house, and, you know, they know some of each other's secrets, and they know, you know, things about their families, and, you know, I mean, they've really bonded. And so that was one that I really thought was a great look at female friendships, even down to, you know, there are times that you don't necessarily like these people. I mean, there's ups and downs in any friendship, right? The next one is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, a book about someone in a toxic relationship or recovering from a toxic relationship. Had a harder time with that one, trying to figure out. I don't read a lot of books about toxic relationships. I I just don't. So, but this one, the main one that came to mind was Wayward. So this was a book about three women in three different times, and they can control nature. So they all come from a toxic relationship, whether it's with their husband or with their father or whatever, and they're all kind of outcasts in their community because people think of them as witches, and so there was a lot of toxic relationships they were running from in that book. So that one was a good one. The next one was a book about it's called Valette, a book about a character in a new land. So I went way back for this one, years and years and years ago. Can't say how many, but a lot. I read the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, the Unbeliever. So I think it's probably 5, 6 books. Really loved it at the time. Seems to me I tried to read it later on and couldn't get into it. But anyway, at the time, I really enjoyed it. So this is about Thomas Covenant. He calls himself that because he's in this strange alternative world, and he doesn't quite believe it. He thinks maybe he's hallucinating. He's not sure what's going on, but this is where he finds himself. And the series is really good. I don't know when it came out, whether it predates Lord of the Rings or not, but it's about when he gets in this strange land, he starts to be treated like a king or some kind of god even, because he has a white gold wedding ring. So this is, I don't know, sacred in this land. And again, it's been so long, I can't really say for sure. But he ends up having to battle the evil in this land and do all these different things. And even though he's, still remembers where he came from, but he's in this land and he has to deal with it. So like I said, at the time I thought it was amazing. So, if you're into fantasy, sci-fi sort of things, feel free to check it out. It's you could probably find most of them in a secondhand store. The problem would be finding all of them probably, but I'm sure one of the big box stores probably has it. So the next one or the last one, I guess, is Wuthering Heights, and it's a book where a house or other buildings play a major role. I was surprised when I started thinking about this, how many came to mind. So for this one, I picked like 3 of them. So one, in a kind of funny, but it's called The Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. And even though it's called Winter Garden and the garden does play a big role, I also think the house plays a major role because it's about these 2 women who are daughters of this woman that's from Russia, and their father, I think, was American. And they, they live fairly close to the parents' house, so they go there, and it's semi-warm when their father's alive, but then once he passes away, the place just seems very cold and foreboding. They've never had a good relationship with their mother. And then their mother starts to go a little crazy, and like she's peeling the wallpaper off the walls and eating it, and they're trying to get to the bottom of all this. And so in a way, the house plays a major role in the book because that's where they keep going to try to talk to her, and that's where she's shutting herself off from them and closing herself in different rooms and things. So that one's interesting. The next one I thought of was the reading list. And so with that one, it's not a house, it's a library that is a major building. So with this one, Alicia works at the library, and she discovers a reading list in one of the books. And it's a list of all these different books that apparently the person wanted to read or thought were great or whatever. So she starts trying to read through the list. Starts trying to read through the list, and one of the patrons of the library, Makesh, yeah, Makesh, I think is his name. He comes in after his wife has passed away because she was a big reader. So he comes in kind of looking for some solace in books, and the woman that's Alicia, that is working the library desk, starts to recommend these books to him off the list. And so it's, a lot of it takes place in the library and has to do with these books. And so I thought that's a good building that, is important in the book. And then the last one that I thought of was The Woman in the Attic. So that was really good and written by a lady from Newfoundland, I believe. And the main character, Hannah, goes to help her mother because her mother's living in this house kind of in the middle of nothing on this hill in Newfoundland. And she goes to help her move out. And I think she's talking about moving her to assisted living or something. But the mother's, got Alzheimer's or something and is not quite functioning properly. And so in the midst of trying to deal with all this and clean everything out of the house, she discovers an attic door, and the door is locked. And what she finds really changes everything. So that one was definitely had a lot to do with the house. So those were some good ones to think about. It's always kind of fun to do those sort of tags because it's like, what book do I pick? And sometimes it's hard to really figure out ones. I've got a bunch of book tags kind of set aside because if I am doing them every week, I have to have something kind of ready to go. And one of the ones that I notice quite a few people have been doing lately has been the Dragon Book Tag. I pulled that one up and I tried to figure out what I would say for certain parts, and it was like, yeah, okay, later. It was too difficult. My brain wasn't functioning that well. So anyway, that's what's going on there. So if you're in Canada, you know that we're coming up on an election. A lot of people have already voted. I haven't yet. I'm probably going to wait till the day of. And then after that, we'll have either a new prime minister or the same interim prime minister we have at the moment. So we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, it's going to be I won't say a quiet week. I've got some appointments and things, but nothing too major. And just looking forward to meeting up with some ladies tomorrow night for some crafting and doing some things around the house. So hopefully whatever you've got going on this week, you enjoy it. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.